Welcome to the Divorce Dad Playbook podcast. Big day here on the show because for people who are listening, if you're listening after sundown, happy Hanukkah.
Huge show.
What,
I don't a lot of friends that say that. There are a lot of friends that think the H is silent. Huge show.
You're in the New York market, and you know there's one guy.
That's a New York thing. That's not one guy.
Yes,
there's tons of people that say huge.
It is absolutely huge.
It's a huge day. Happy Hanukkah.
No, it's happy Hanukkah. Thank you very much. I wrote a post. Maybe I'll link to this. I've written it on a couple of different sites about how to spell Hanukkah because like no one can agree.
Chanukah.
Yeah, there's the traditional HAN
Charmonica.
Is this the mood we're in today? Is this we're just gonna derail the show right at the beginning?
Nope.
Good. HANUKKAH is a traditional way. CHANUKAH. So when you add the C to the front, you take an N away. Makes no sense. My thing is we should do it like Manuka honey, which I put on my face every day. It's like HANUKA.
The hell is Manuka honey?
Really?
Manuka
How
honey?
are you even a person?
What do you mean a person? That was super metrosexual of you to talk about.
Awesome. Congratulations to me. I'm in tune with my body. Speaking of being in tune with my body. So I got a text yesterday, and it's from somebody who I've been trying to get on the show. Let's full disclosure that. I've been trying to get on the show, and she doesn't want to do it yet. She's actually not divorced. Most of the people, not everyone, most of the people who are experts have gone through this a lot. She's a realtor up near you, actually. And so I'm trying to get her on the show. I think she'd be great for our show. She's trying to actually get one of her business partners who is going through a divorce and would be great for us. So we're working that out. And then all of a sudden it turned into like this flirt fest because that's how we met. And now I might be hanging out with her on New Year's Eve. Yeah. Talk about no sleep till Brooklyn. That's where she lives. I might be not having any sleep.
Brooklyn?
Yeah.
Why would you do that?
Okay, here's why I would do that.
Like this goes back to the distance thing. Like you're really willing to travel 3 hours to hang out with somebody?
I don't think it's quite 3, but I would hang out. I would drive 3 hours to hang out with somebody one time for the story. And her business partner, as I mentioned, lives about an hour outside of Philadelphia. So less than an hour to me. And if it works out, she's got a place to come down and work and be relatively close. We talked about that yesterday. We texted back and forth for a while, and then we ended up on the phone for like an hour and a half. And we've talked before. This isn't the first time I ever talked to her, but she was like, yeah, if you're willing to come up here. I was like, I'll do anything once, but if we hit it off, like I'll come up every month to hang out and just like flirt and stuff. It'd be fun. Why not? It's an adventure. My life is an adventure, Scott.
I get it. You're right. Life is an adventure.
Wait, stop the show.
You got to make the most of your
now.
minutes.
Throw your kids first out on everyone. You just said you are right. We're done. It's the quickest show ever. Thank you.
I need to agree with you on one thing because just that hoodie you're wearing is just like blinding me. It's brutal.
Okay. First of all, this hoodie is
awesome. It's purple stripes. You look like Barney.
No,
and not Barney Stinson. Oh, that's what we're doing. You're going for the Barney. You're going for the Barney theme throughout the podcast. We go from Stinson to the purple dinosaur.
Okay, 2 things about that. One, neither of these colors purple. It's a lavender and then like a darker, deeper purple. Neither of these are the color of Barney the dinosaur. Second of all, can you update your references a little bit? Like you're quoting or you're referencing How I Met Your Mother like all the time. And I'll tell you this, Scott, no one talks about that show. It's like fallen out of the any type of
it's a top 5 show. It's a top 5 show on Hulu. It's a top 5 show on Hulu. It's a top 5 show on Hulu.
It's not old enough like a Seinfeld or older than that, where it's like retro and bringing back, and it's not relevant enough where it's like The Office or Parks and Rec, where everyone has talked about it the whole time.
To you,
you're on an island here.
To you,
to like everyone.
I think everyone who's listening, if you haven't binged and you're about to go into a dark winter, it's a great 22 minutes per episode on Hulu.
Yeah.
Get it
plus
before
commercials
it's gone.
if you have commercials. But go ahead.
I don't have commercials. I guess I'm lucky.
Somebody pays for Hulu.
And it's a hilarious show that is highly outrageous / representative of a lot of the things you might be going through.
Can we get fair? I definitely think, and then the showrunners, I can't believe we're doing this. The showrunners admitted that the show was on for like 2 or 3 years too long. They wanted to end the show, but CBS wouldn't let them because they just kept throwing money at them. And usually people who have a show will take the money to continue the show. The show went on for 3 years too long. It stopped being funny. The payoff at the end was literally one of the worst finales ever in the history. And this is like Game of Thrones, like Seinfeld disappointment people were, and then this, like one of the worst endings to a show that was built on a payoff ever. Speaking of built on a payoff, can I pay off the theme song today? Can we get to that?
Please jump in.
Are you busy? Do you have a call that you have to get to?
I'm actually multitasking for 1 second. Just get to the theme song. If you're listening, you can't tell that I'm not paying attention.
Yeah, well, you just brought up my Barney colored sweatshirt, so I'm hoping that whoever is listening just hit pause, went over to our site or our YouTube channel. It's divorcedadplaybook.com. And by the way, we talked about this on the last episode for people who are jumping in here and there. divorcedadplaybook.com/blog. Woo! We got some cool ass shit up there, man. We posted the best
Very
article
exciting.
we have is what 8 things to do with your kids in the winter, written by my 10-year-old, who is, man, I'm just gonna let him write everything. Yeah,
yes. Well, not everything, but he's awesome.
He's pretty awesome. So I think
that was a perfect article for him to write. I don't think he can write about things that we'd be talking about otherwise, but yes.
No, he can't do episode reviews of How I Met Your Mother. I don't want him watching that yet. Wait for it a couple of years because he's too young to watch that show.
So you do love it. You secretly love the show.
No, I just
love it.
I'm just showing my ability.
You're so upset. You're so upset.
Recall references.
You were so upset with the ending of it and everything. Like for an irrelevant show, you have a lot of passion about it.
It was relevant at the time. Spoiler alert, kids. I'm gonna spend 7 years talking about How I Met Your Mom when most of those 7 years are really just how I tried to screw other women in New York City because I'm a sociopath. And at the end of it, I'm finally going to pay off the story about How I Met Your Mom the day of her funeral. Oh, by the way, here's Aunt Robin. I've been in love with her the whole time. You're only here because she wouldn't date me. What kind of ending is that?
Oh, so you watched the whole thing. That's great.
I watched every episode. I was into it.
Yeah. You just really
I don't know if you can see this, and I don't want to take it off the wall lest it fall, but like over here where I'm pointing, I have a signed by the entire cast of the Muppets, the original like reboot of the Muppets.
Marshall was in the Muppet.
Jason Segel wrote
I know that poster
and starred in the Muppet. I have Jason Segel on my wall, right there.
All right,
Big Neil Patrick Harris fan. I got nothing for Ted Mosby. I got not, whatever his name is in real life. He's fine,
Ted Mosby. I just don't understand. I mean, I guess he was an architect, but I don't understand how he got as many pretty women as he did in real life. But
no, here's an interesting thing about that. One, he lived in a gigantic New York apartment.
Well, ultimately, he took over the stripper's apartment, which was an amazing apartment.
Yes, but originally he was living with someone, but he had this is an amazing apartment in New York City, even if you have a roommate.
Above a bar,
Above a bar. I mean, how could you not? I live a block from a bar, and boy golly, can I tell you how convenient it is to be able to walk home or walk there. I usually don't have to walk home. Let's just put it that way. And this is during a pandemic. Can I get to the theme song? We're like 8 minutes in already. I don't even know how long we're in.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Theme song.
So I'm going to show you right here for people who are watching on the YouTube. Do you see this where I'm pointing? I'll do it this way. Do you see this where I'm pointing?
There on the table?
Yeah, that's a pile of dreidels. A pile of dreidels. And then behind me on my shoulder, right here, where I'm pointing, is a pile of presents, color coordinated like our parents used to do. Max has one color. Zoe has a different color wrapping paper. I didn't tell them which. And in past years, we just wrote the number on it for the day. But I'm going to do what our parents did and let them pick what they want each day. And they don't pick what they want.
You say, and then you say, oh, you can pick whatever you want, but not that one. Not that one.
Yeah,
no, it's not,
yeah.
It's not that one. That's always gonna be socks.
Yeah, like no, that's not a good one. We'll do that. Let's do that one on a day where we have other stuff. Yeah, no, I'm gonna let them pick. Now there's a couple that are like grouped together and stuff.
Okay, well, I appreciate making a big deal of this, even though my kids are gone and I won't be celebrating Hanukkah tonight. So I feel like it's a little bit of salt in the wound, but that's okay. Keep going. I'm strong enough.
Okay,
maybe I'll zoom into your celebration.
You can do that. I think we're actually going to do that with mom and dad. I think we're going to drop presents off and not have them open it and then have them Zoom during Hanukkah. We can do the lights together.
Oh, but I was going to get your kids Christmas presents, not Hanukkah presents.
I was going to send your kids gift cards now. So I should wait? Is that what we're doing?
Oh,
Anyway, let's talk about that off
not here. Okay, yeah.
Okay. No, because our and we can't talk about this on the air, Scott. Before we get to our
get to the dreidel song.
No. After this, is the whole idea of Hanukkah being 8 nights. So for our Jewish listeners, of which I'm sure there are many, because that's all we do is Jew it up on this show. What are you doing for the 8 nights? Like if you have to share custody, that is actually, I'm not going to write an article about it. I think it's a little too niche, but I think it's an interesting thing just to bring up because anyway. So there's 2 options. I was going to clearly try to do the Adam Sandler Hanukkah song, which I have committed to memory. I could do the whole thing right now, but I'm not going to. Instead, I came up with this. I found this one on Bandcamp. It's Shemp Speed or Shemp's Peed, which is grosser, on Bandcamp.
See, you're making another reference to How I Met Your Mother. Sorry.
What are you talking about?
Lily was in American Pie.
Bandcamp is like
all her stories.
God, you're so old.
Anyway, keep going. Okay, keep going.
Bandcamp is like the number one place where people who are musicians upload their music.
I'm not talking about
I'm just playing over. Woo, wow. It's a little remix. D1. It's called Hanukkah Instrumentals.
Dreidel. I made it out of clay. And when it's dry and ready, oh dreidel, I shall play.
All right, can I show you some of my dreidels?
Really?
We have the colored dreidels here. These spin really well. We have this giant monstrosity, which has all that does not. We've got, this is some serious dreidel action here. This is metal with like stones in it, gems.
Oh.
Yeah, and then we have our array of sports-related dreidels.
All right. Well.
Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna play during the show. So you pick one of the dreidels I just showed you, and I'll spin it for you, and I'll spin it for me.
Okay.
For a second. That was the first theme song. Secondly, and I'm not gonna play this whole song, but I found this, and it's phenomenal. Like
this is like I feel like I need like a knish or something to sit through this podcast.
Just hold on. 613 sings. They have 40-something thousand subscribers on YouTube, so they don't need us plugging them. But 613 sings is the name of this. They do parodies and whatnot. Listen to this. They're Greek tyranny. They're pulling in rhymes. If I could go high on this one, I would. I can't do it. This is amazing. They're so talented. Why are people more talented than me in the world? I know I just made this about me, but screw it. I don't care.
Yes. This is. I love the original, but yeah, this is interesting.
This is amazing. They do a whole Ariana Grande like medley of Hanukkah songs.
Well,
so that's my Hanukkah gift.
Give a link on the site.
I'm gonna link it. Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, you just Shuati, like, come on. Anyway, that was good. So I ruined it by talking too much. Talking over it the whole time. Yeah.
I wasn't talking about the song the whole time. I was just talking prior to you getting a chance to.
Absolutely, you totally ruined that whole thing, but it's fine. That's what you do. I appreciate your blue and white stripes for the Hanukkah. Your sweater is blue and white.
See?
Yeah.
Accidentally on purpose.
I actually
representing, even though I'm not celebrating it.
Wait a minute.
What?
Can we hold on for 1 second?
Why?
I'll be right back.
Why? Where are you going?
And we are back.
What is that?
Happy holidays.
Challah.
Why didn't I think to wear
Challah.
this?
Yep.
Why didn't I think to wear this at the beginning? I just did a whole Hanukkah bit for half the show.
My normal sweater inspired you.
Exactly. I can't believe I didn't wear this, but now I am. Happy holidays out there. Or as you would have said at the beginning of the show, happy holidays. Jesus. So a couple of things. I'm out of breath. Whew. I just ran. A couple of things that I want to get to. As people can tell, this is going to be one of those fun topic shows. Actually, later in the week, we are going to have an interview. We'll put it up, actually, I think, on the show early next week with our first divorce lawyer. Not legal divorce lawyer, like someone who's on the show, and she's very excited to come on. She's a big-time lawyer down near me in Philly area. I'm super excited to talk to her. So we're going to get more into that kind of stuff on the show, and also on the site. We've really are developing like an unbelievable cabal of experts. And so for people who maybe are coming in late or who just listened to us and haven't gotten to the 45-minute mark when we sometimes bring in a guest or anything, go back and listen to them. There's actually we have a YouTube channel specifically for the full-length interviews for our guests. You can go on our page. I just threw up one of the Nicole Ananda clips on our blog, and it's like fire. Come on. It's not about what you and your dick are doing. I mean, come on. I love her so much. She wants to come on. She's very excited to come on again.
So is that the transition that we can start talking about some of the requests I've had over the past couple of days, because this is starting to catch on, and a lot of people.
That's where I was going.
Okay, you want me to let you finish then?
I mean, you go ahead. Program the show all you want. It's fine. Here, which dreidel? While you're talking, which dreidel did you pick of the sports dreidels? Did you?
Which sports are they? Oh, the basketball one. That's what we're picking.
All right, I was going to say you were going to take baseball because you're an old man, and only old men like baseball. All right, so while you're talking, I'm going to spin it. Go ahead. Go ahead.
So offensive, you know.
Hold on. Yeah, to old people.
Well, you just said hold on, and
we got a spin going. If it falls, I'll just see whatever lands on the ground. Oh, here it comes. Oh, this is great TV here. Hold on.
Yeah, it's fascinating.
Hey. You got so you get half.
Hey.
I'm gonna take the soccer one. You go on and talk. I'm gonna spin this while you're talking.
Wait, so I'm just gonna talk about some of the responses and people that have been reaching out over the past day or two. Actually, have been from a wide variety of people. Which is pretty.
Gimmel. I'm sorry, you're talking. Were you talking?
Oh my God.
Gimmel, you don't know.
This has got to be so. This is. I'm not that Jewish.
You're Jewish.
I flunked out of, like, I spent most of my time in the rabbi's office.
Your Hebrew school, your project for your bar mitzvah was literally you crocheted a pillow. I did like a whole family tree going back like 8 generations. You crocheted a pillow with a Jewish star on it.
I'm just not that into it. That's what it was.
Oh God. Oh my God. Are we just doing more references to this show?
No, I didn't even think about that. I think that's a reference to a whole totally different movie and show and book, is it not?
Oh, well, yeah, but they use that on the show, I think, too. Anyway.
Because it's a brilliant show. They use a lot of things. Anyway, so
I've episode ever.
No, it's only the worst episode because it's not all about you.
It's only the worst episode because you just have no pace. You're out of control. I have things I want to get to 6 minutes ago. This is what you did at the end of last show. Who's in your ear right now? Somebody is in your ear to be like, you need to take more control of that show and ruin it because it's too good. Because like the last 8 minutes of the last show, I said to you for the last 12 minutes ago, it's been a minute.
Dreidels.
No, hold on. It's festive and timely. That's
to
what
you.
I am. To everyone.
No, not everyone. Actually, as a matter of fact, I think probably a small majority of our...
A small majority, right. An unsilent minority. We are a small minority, which is why I'm trying to show a little culture on the site. Spread the world. There's like 6 million of us in this country. And if you remember, Scott, 6 million is a very important Jewish number. Nonetheless, I digress. Happy Hanukkah.
To keep us on track...
Whatever the hell you were saying.
It's not whatever the hell I was saying. It's that a lot of people have reached out, and some men have reached out, and they said, look, I've been listening to the podcast, and I'm hearing a lot about what Dan is going through and some of the advice you're giving him. But I heard this from 2 different people. We need some more basic, specific advice. And I don't even think that this is on the site, so I would have just sent them over to the site. But they wanted specific advice, and we can go through this. We go through this for you. Stop with the fucking dreidels, dude.
Just go. You can just exist. You don't have to pay attention to me. That's the point.
But I hear it in the background.
Oh, it's wow. You hear something spinning. You had a lawnmower next to you, and I had no problem continuing the show. Just talk.
Yes, you did. You did have a problem.
No, you were the one who stopped it.
My God, this is ridiculous. You ruined my bit.
Because you couldn't allow a tiny buzz outside of your window to keep how are you this distracted? I'm the one with ADHD. Just go.
I'm going. You keep interrupting.
No, I'm not. I'm just doing something on my own because I'm so bored by not getting to the point of this.
That's not right. The point.
I know it's not right.
At the point. No, I was at the point of saying
the audience. All right,
I was
guys,
at
whatever,
the point.
whatever.
I was at the point of saying, if you want to make this about you, which is fairly typical, or if you want to make it just about them, they were simply asking things about specifically when they're going through their divorce, what they should be doing with their kids, what they should be doing on dates, like how do you prepare for a date? How should I be dressing? Do I shave? Do I shave different parts of my body? Like, that's the things that people wanted to know in terms of these men.
All right, we can do that. And actually, what's funny is yesterday I told you about this woman who I'm going to try and hang out with on New Year's Eve. One of the things that she brought up is about, some of the things we're working on are strategic partnerships and getting people involved, or, companies involved to help our growing audience and our membership. And that's one of the things that she actually brought up is like these online clothing sites and whatnot. And I said, working on it. But it's really interesting to your point. Yes, that is the case. If people want to know what men should do, we are going to be all over that soon. Not only are we going to have people who are like professional dating gurus, people who are like matchmakers and whatnot come on the show relatively soon. People who I have dated who now listen to the show and I'm friends with want to come on and like talk about, which I think you'll love, because they'll just literally just rip on me the whole time.
I need to be on those shows for sure.
Okay, so that'll come up and we can talk about it. Like, this is an interesting point because I get like a razor burn situation here. And so for me to shave, I actually have to time it. So this is, I'm legitimately answering what you're saying. I have to time it to a point where that would either dissipate or I have like enough time to just like cover my face in like Aquaphor and other lubricants, because I don't want to go out on a date where I'm like scruff. I do like the number one on the shaver thing. So scruff is my friend. But when it's razor burn, you look ridiculous and it looks like awful. No one wants to go out on a guy where you're staring at half his face is red. So I have to actually schedule out when I shave as to when I have dates. And that's difficult because sometimes like I'm into it, like an impromptu thing. So I've gone out on a few dates where like I have way longer like facial hair than I would feel comfortable because I'd rather have a little bit of scruff in COVID than have razor burn. 100% issue.
I think the COVID part is interesting because people are not keeping themselves up as they normally would. So I think shaving, yes, you also need to be mindful. It's not just about you. It's about the woman that you might be going out with, because your scruff could chafe her face.
Yeah,
legit.
I know. I was married to someone who was very easily face chafed. So I get that. Absolutely.
Yeah. Another question they had was about, there's just some random questions that they had. One was about like lips. Do you wear any kind of, especially as it's getting here in the Northeast colder, do you wear anything on your lips for a guy? Meaning like, do you put on chapstick, lip, like a balm, whatever it might be, just to keep them.
Okay.
Well, they're asking why. I know. So if anyone's watching, your reactions are, I think you're having an overreaction to the
fun part of that is they probably didn't see it because I reacted off camera. You were talking, so they probably didn't see me. But thanks again for derailing your own comment. Having said that, now that we're both on the screen, I will say this: that, and I'm not even joking about this. That is the reason why I wanted. That's not even a good face. That is the reason why I wanted to get on board with this site and doing this is because. I'm just waiting until you're done.
It's really hard, isn't it? It's so frustrating when somebody throws you off like that.
Oh, no, I did that on purpose. No, I did. I paid you off on that because you were making a face. I purposefully stopped. I could have gone through that and powered through. I just wanted the people who were listening to the show to know that you were being an asshole.
Yeah. Gotcha.
No, it's funny. The reason why I wanted to be a part of this is because I was like, well, I don't have an expertise in any of this stuff because I'm divorced relatively recently. But then as we started talking, and I'm like, right, men are developmentally stunted. Like, men don't know how to do very simple shit like iron a shirt properly. Correct. And so this is perfect. Like, and if the guys are listening, like, awesome. Thank you for reaching out. I'm not joking about that. Like, it's great that you're adding to this. And this is a conversation that clearly you want to hear. But like, if they have to ask you what to put on their lips in the winter for a date, they're really far gone.
Not what? No, not what. They just said, is that a turn off? If my lips are dry and I'm putting on some lube.
Why do you need a divorced dad to tell you that if you have dry lips, the woman's not going to want to touch him with hers? Lube it up, guys. Lube. Did you see my lips 2 days ago? They were like bright purple shiny because you know what? Soft lips, they help a lot of things. I might have scruff, but if the lips are soft right here, I could do a lot of stuff.
Okay, well, since you're very passionate about this topic, the other question they had outside of just legitimately talking about like how do you dress for dates, especially during COVID, where you're going out and in some cases you're sitting outside in the cold now, so you're just basically wearing a hat and gloves and a jacket. But the other thing that they were mentioning was as they got on more than their first date, which I know you're great at first dates, okay at second, bad at thirds.
Getting better at thirds, but keep going.
That's good to hear. They want to know about their body hair. And I think that was a legitimate question because I think if you were married, you might not have cared as much if you were overly hairy.
Yeah, absolutely have to deal with this myself as well. Absolutely. I'm not even joking about this. 100%.
No, I know. And so I was giving my opinion, but I think that this is I think because the way people listen to the show, I'm going to throw this over to you.
Thank you. What I am interested in, and I'll answer it this way first to get the sort of untoward part out of the way. What I have been very interested in over the course of the last, say, 9 months or so is not just, like my personal body hair and grooming, is to see how women in 2020, like single women, divorced moms and stuff, what their grooming is and the level of consistency that people have. I was very interested in that because I thought it would be like way more divergent in terms of like women's grooming, and it's pretty much all on the same path, a few here and there. But that, yeah. So anyway, what I would say in reference to that directly is keep it tight, keep like get your shit going. And there's that, this isn't an ad, but you know, that thing you see on the TV with like, it's like that green handle, like it almost looks like a regular straight razor, but it's electric. And you can add little attachments.
The manscaper.
No. It looks like that, but it's like an actual face shaver.
Yeah. I don't want to, I didn't mean to say that name because
Why are we giving them free pub?
They should be paying us for the fact.
Well, anyway, it's not that, and I wasn't going to say.
I'm not endorsing it.
So I use that because there's different attachments for different. Like sometimes if I want to have a little bit more scruff, I go with the 2 or the 1. I actually do. I haven't shaved like fully clean shaven in a while, just because again, like you break out and stuff, and I've been going out relatively consistently, and I don't want to have to shave every day. I had a beard for 20 years. Not a joke, 20 years. And for the last 3 years, I had a long beard, 2 years. And so
we got to put one of those. We got to put one of those pictures up. That was horrible.
I'll throw it up right now. I have no shame. Here you go. Ready? Let's go to the split screen. Here you go. It wasn't horrible. It was just different. Okay. No, first of all, explicit label. Fuck you, because part of the reason why I had it, which I guess no one gave a shit about, was that I was extremely depressed, and my whole thing was I'm not going to shave until I'm not depressed, and it took 2 years. Don't nope me.
Don't F you me for saying your beard was horrible. I didn't say you were a horrible person. I didn't say we didn't care about you. I just said the beard looked horrible.
It didn't, and I'm going to put a good picture up of it right now. And I also at times did look horrible. That being said, it was a style choice. I cannot tell you, and I was married at the time, so it's not like a women thing. I cannot tell you how many people were attracted to the beard. Humans. How many men would come up to me and talk? I grew this beard so I didn't have to talk to anyone. I thought if I looked menacing enough, I wouldn't have to deal with other people. And all it did was make more people interested in me, which I did not know. Having said that, I had somebody over here the other day, and I have pictures up around the around the apartment with me with the beard because it was recent. It was like a year ago, just about a year ago. And a woman who was here was like, "Oh, thank God you don't have that anymore. Yeah, you look way better."
Amen to her.
And I do look better without it, and I feel better without it. But it was for a purpose.
That's all I'm saying.
A cry for help that you're just now telling me it looks horrible. Of course I did. I was like majorly depressed.
Dan.
Yeah, I looked horrible.
I understand your depression. I understand. I was very concerned about you. I am very concerned about you. It was not. It's not condescending at all. I'm saying I just said that the beard looks shitty.
I understand your depression.
Well,
I'm very sensitive to your issues. Oh my God, like seriously.
You're very triggered today. So in any case, can I get back to the ending this point
of what thing? I'm going to get back to this. No,
right, because you started talking about your face again, and I wanted to talk about the body, not the face.
Okay, I brought up the fact that I had a beard. I brought up the fact that a thing which has different size attachments can give you different scruff length, can cut short. Anyway, I would recommend that, and I'm not going to recommend a brand, but I would recommend for men out there to get one of those different utility devices where you can, different parts of your face and different parts of your body can have different things. This one in particular has a guard. You can just use it like loose, but it has a guard on it where you can still get the like zero effect, but you don't cut yourself. And there are certain parts of your body where your skin maybe isn't quite as taut, where you might need a little bit of protection, no pun, and in making sure that when you are grooming that area, you're not going to just start like cutting yourself, because that is painful. And so I would recommend one of these like zero shavers, but has like a skin guard on it. And I would say definitely every time I shave my face, I find other parts like, and I'm not even talking like, this is kind of very in depth, but like, you're old, you're in your 40s, so you get occasional like shoulder thing, or your hair's growing too long, and in the back you have like it growing down your neck or stuff on your back. Like, yeah, whatever you feel comfortable getting rid of, get rid of it. But what you have to realize, guys, is if you're going to do that, you have to consistently do it, because it's going to look worse when it starts to grow back. And then you're just running, in circles like every time. So if you're going to commit to like grooming the rest of your body and not just your face, like commit to it, because it's something that is important. And by the way, let me tell you, well received. And I don't mean that in like a gross way. I'm not trying to say like, but if you do it and you show that you care about your body, yes, the other person who you're with is going to notice that. And it's going to say, oh, wow, this guy cares about himself. This guy, he's just not like whipping things out willy-nilly. He's taking care of himself just in case the things get willied or nillied.
Good answer.
That well?
Yeah, that was a good answer. Yeah.
Can I go?
Was helpful.
I don't want to have like a 5 million minute show like we usually do. So can I get to some comments that I saw on our YouTube?
Yes, please.
Okay. So on the most recent episode, which is the episode 16, Dad's Gotta Poop, for people who maybe haven't, we got a few comments, which I absolutely adore. Pam P. As a never married woman who doesn't have a thing in the divorced dad thing, but is a longtime fan of Dan's sports writing and his humor, and thus I listen to the podcast sporadically, she recommends episode 4 and episode 9, which are the two episodes that I mentioned. One is the episode 4 is the homeless woman, which is like now become like the lore of the show. It's like this homeless woman story is like the greatest story of my life. Yeah. And episode 9 is the episode was right after my therapist. My last I almost have said the episode with my therapist. My last appointment with my therapist, and I explain a lot about I explain a lot about why I maybe had a long beard for a while and all the things that led into that, and how if it did look gross, maybe there was a reason behind the grossness. And I'm not saying it looked gross, because I actually thought it looked pretty good. I needed a change of pace. Nevertheless, we are where we are. So what I will say, and I for some reason I can't call up the entire oh, here it is. This is what Pam continues to say. Episode 4, because we've all been there. I met a guy on Tinder who was homeless. Only clued in when he wore the same crappy clothes on 3 dates. And episode 9, because it's just truth every minute for all of us, but especially me, so there's that, which is awesome. And to share that is, is brave is an overused word, but it's really nice to put that out on a site that she's also dealing with a lot of this stuff, and very heartwarming to me that, not being in our target audience, she's still listening. It's awesome. My response, of course, was 3 dates. She went on 3 dates with a homeless guy. 3. Like, once you get to the point where like, hey, didn't this guy wear that? Yeah, all right, maybe he's into that. Maybe that's like his go-to suit, and he forgot. Maybe he's so busy that it's been a couple of weeks, he forgot that he wore that on the first date. Which, by the way, another tip for guys: if you're going out with multiple people, remember what you wore when you went out. Take a picture of it in the mirror, send it to your most trustworthy female friend before you go out, and say, does this look good? Does this look first date material? Are my pants rolled up too high or not high enough? Conversations that I've actually had that have helped. Don't even. But remember what you wear on dates, because you don't want to double up within the first 2 or 3 dates. You want to show the woman that you have more than one nice shirt. And sometimes you forget, because you're like, I've been on 4 dates between my first date with this woman and my second date with this woman. And that's just the next shirt in the date rotation. No, you got to be better than that. So this guy, obviously by the 3rd time, she was like, he's not just getting this in the rotation. Like, this guy, that might be all he's wearing. And she said, "Blah, ha, 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 ha. Yes, he was great, but he was evasive about his living situation and came over to my house for number 2 and number 3 and said, hey, I just came from the gym. Can I take a shower?" LMAO, after the second time showering, I seriously said, "Do you live in a car?" And he said, "Yes." He went 2 more times. We went 2 more times, and the homeless part was the least objectionable part of him. That is, that's like honey, talking about Manuka honey. That's a phenomenal story.
That might have taken the lead on the worst dating story.
Worst date ever. I don't know if that's the worst date. She went out with him 3 times. Well, obviously there had to be other parts of the date that were pretty satisfactory for Pam.
Yeah. Well, luckily she let him shower.
I would assume beforehand.
So I was assuming that, yes.
But how about that? Seriously, how about that? Like,
well,
3
thank
dates.
You, Pam,
the guy said, "I'm going to the gym." I know that's really ballsy, one, to write about that, but 2, like, yes, I look at it and I'm like, how can you get duped by people? You know, I got duped. I got Snapchat filtered at least 2 or 3 times where the person shows up and I'm like, what?
Yeah.
The woman I thought I was hanging out with does not look like your face is not that face. As indignant as my voice can get. And it's like, well, I got hoodwinked.
Well, I think, and again, we'll get more into the dating profiles and stuff like that, maybe on the show, because we're going to have some people that are going to be experts in that, as well as on the site. I will say, this goes for men and women.
Yeah.
Like, if you're actually looking for not just a first date and maybe a second or a third, just be real with your pictures. Like, just be real. Like, don't show a picture from 5 years ago. You look different. It's okay. Like who you are today. Like, you have to like who you are today. Don't showcase somebody else and then show up at a date and everyone's like walking by and saying like, "Oh, I guess you're not here." And you end up texting the person like, you know, "Are you on your way?" And they're like, "Yeah, I'm here." And all of a sudden you're like, "Wait, is it the one person that does not look anything like the picture that I thought I was coming to see sitting at this table?" Yeah, that's just awful.
I think I talked about it on an early episode where it was like I went out to meet somebody for a drink and the pictures looked really nice. And again, like, shame on me. And this is another pro tip we'll get to. And I think we might have this on the site somewhere, Scott. Be leery of people who only have face shots on their profile. And I'm not being body conscious. You know, I'm not trying to judge anyone's body, but what I'm saying is people who don't put a full or close to full body shot don't want you to know something. Get as much information about someone before you go out with them, because if you are into somebody who's maybe a little bit more athletic or fit or something, and you think like, oh wow, that person looks like they could be really athletic and fit, and they don't have any pictures of themselves, just don't be surprised. And you might not care. Like, I've hung out with people who I'm like, oh wow, this person maybe different body shape than I expected. It's still a great time. Hung out with them, awesome. Yeah. Like, it's not a judgment, but if you get something in your head, don't think the best of people. Think the average of people, or worse than that, because there's a reason why that information's not out there for you to soak in. They're self-conscious about something.
I would add just one more, and then we can move on from this. But I would say limit your pictures in your profile with friends, because candidly, as you're swiping through and you're looking at a group, one of your friends might actually look a little bit better than you. And since it's all about image at the beginning and then what you write, sometimes I saw profiles where there were 3 or 4 women. I was like, ooh. And then I read the profile and I was like, right. I was like, wait, why would you put the picture with your 2 hottest friends? Like,
so here's the logic on that.
I've talked about, like, you know, I'm just saying that's just not the best idea. Like, they make it about you. We're not dating you and your friends. We're dating you. Ultimately, your friends will be there, but you certainly don't want to have the picture of you and your 2 hot friends up there.
All right, to go full circle on this conversation, there was an episode of How I Met Your Mother where it's far from good, good from far, right? And so, or good from far, far from good.
That was a great episode.
Right, and so that is exactly what that logic is. And I don't want to spend too much time on this because, again, we'll talk about this at length and this is something I do feel expertise on because I've talked to a lot of people about this. There are some women out there who feel more attractive by proxy, that if they're in a photo on their dating site or on their dating profile, where they are with other attractive women, they don't look at it as, oh God, I'm the least attractive of all these, they're going to think less of me. They look at it as, wow, this woman's got a ton of hot friends, and it makes her hotter by proxy. It makes her more attractive. So a lot of people don't realize that it does backfire on them sometimes. And guys too, don't get me wrong, guys too. If you're hanging out with a bunch of dudes, you just, played a sporting game or, went to a bar or something, and like you're the least handsome of the dudes, that's not helping you. Yes, it's good that you have handsome friends because it shows that you like travel in a circle of attractive people and that makes you attractive, but it makes you the least attractive of an attractive group. It's like, would you rather have the worst house on a good block or the best house on a bad block? in real estate, you'd rather have the worst house on a good block because you can make that house better and there's more value in it. You don't want to have the best house on a terrible block. And I think that's the logic, Scott, that a lot of people use when it comes to this. If you're the ugliest person in a room full of handsome people, you're probably still pretty handsome. But if you're the most attractive guy in a room full of uggos, then you're probably ugly by proxy. I've never used the term uggos.
So the moral is on
uggos.
So the moral is on your dating profiles, whether you're a man or a woman, limit, if not eliminate, pictures with friends.
Yeah, and again, I want to be very careful about this because I have a lot of fun with dating sites, and we put stuff on the site, certainly on the show, that we joke around about people's dating sites and whatnot. There are a lot of don'ts that people do, a lot. I have pictures where there are, because everyone's like, oh, you have too many selfies and you look self-absorbed or whatever. I'm like, I don't have any friends right now who are single. I'm not putting my friends on the site. I don't have anybody else who's going to take a picture of me. Should I go outside and like stage a selfie? Well, apparently, yeah, I do it where like the camera's like 10 feet from you. So it looks like you're actually doing something. I did that with a couple of soccer photos, but I do have a couple of pictures where there's like icons next to my face that cover my kids' faces. And I didn't want to do that but I want people to know I have 2 kids and I'm a good dad and I care about stuff because that apparently matters to people. But when you put your kid in every photo, I'm not a big fan of putting your kid in any photo because I don't bait me your kid. Like, I don't want to, oh, wow, she's got an attractive little 4-year-old boy. I'm going to date her. That's weird and creepy to me. Let us know you're a mom. Let us know you're looking for a future stepdad for your kids. That's fine. Absolutely fine. But don't whore your kid out on your dating profile trying to attract it. It's not a worm on a hook. That's not right to put your kids' faces in every one of your photos front and center. It's just not right. It's not good parenting.
Yeah. Well, again, we can get more into this. I don't think a lot of people are doing it to bait people. I think that they're more so focused on the fact that, hey, I'm a mom and I care about my kid or kids, and you have to be okay with that as a guy. Like, I'm not just looking to hook up. Like, I'm looking for a relationship. And I think that's what they're doing. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. I'm just saying that's what most women who I've seen or asked as to why they've done that, where they've put their kids in there, like, well, I'm not looking to just hook up. I'm looking for somebody who has to appreciate the fact that a good mom and I'm a dedicated mom. And I said, okay, I respect that. You could write more about that and do a few pictures of yourself and maybe, to your point, cover up the kids' faces. Yeah.
100%.
And so I agree. Covering up your kids' faces on a dating site is a good thing. I'm all about, again, we're talking about divorce and being a good dad. Obviously, I'm all about being a good mom too. And that's attractive. So it's cool that you put it. It's cool that you talk about it, but don't exploit your kids. I agree.
And I will say this is really important too. And this goes along the lines of that. And I'm glad we're talking about this because we have been, we sort of backdoored into this whole dating profile conversation, Scott. And we're going to talk more about this because I know people have reached out to you specifically about this. Let me say this. Not only is putting photos with your kids' actual faces in there, to me, dangerous. Because now if I know how many kids you have, if I know what town you live in because you're geolocated, some of the sites, like Tinder just gives you a mile distance. You can write it in if you want. But like Bumble, for example, like it tells you not only where you live, you can put in where you're from, you can put in where you are at that moment. So if you have like a job, it can tell you like people can find out a lot about you. And if that's okay with you, okay, great. I'm an open book. But as I have been told on this site and on this show, like I have 2 kids that maybe don't want to be on my dating profile. Yeah. And so, ask your kids if they're cool with it. And if they're too young, you need to talk to your ex and be like, by the way, I just want to let you know, like I have a couple of pictures of the kids up on my dating profile. Are you okay with that? I guarantee you. I said yesterday, 40% of the people are swiping right on the toilet. I guarantee you, and you can't not agree. I would venture to guess there's a good 90% of exes who are like, whoa, you have our kids on your dating site? No, that is not, to go full circle on this show, that is not kosher.
Yeah. And I agree. And I think just to, for those of you that are out there that are struggling with your dating profile or not sure, and maybe you don't have friends to review it with you, which you should, for now, I'm happy to reach out. I mean, I'm happy to look at it too. Like, so either Scott at divorcedadplaybook.com or Dan at divorcedadplaybook.com, reach out to us. We might talk about you. We won't talk about you specifically by name, but we might talk about you if we're looking at your dating profile. You have to be okay with that. But we will help you.
Black out your face and your kids' faces, by the way, just an FYI on that. Yes. If you want us to show your profile.
but we're happy to help people because there's a lot of people that just aren't getting good guidance, and thus it's not leading to good dates.
I have several women who I'm friends with who I've met through these dating sites, Scott, who send me, and I'm not, maybe we'll put one up like in the middle of this or whatever. I didn't have anything planned right now, but have sent me profiles of people that they've come across. And there are a lot of guys out there who need help. This isn't just like I've come across a lot of women who I'm like, man, I can't believe this is your profile. Guys are worse. And it's not like the whole like gym selfie, fish, dick pic type of thing. It's not what I'm talking about. Like that's a different culture. And if you're into that, you're into that. Like I make no bones about the fact that like I'm not putting a picture of myself shirtless, but if you want a picture of that, I'll send it to you. I don't care. Here's what I look like. Here's what I used to look like. So, you know, I feel confident about myself now. Whatever. I did a lot of work on myself mentally and physically. But I'm not putting that on my dating profile because that does sort of push you in a different direction. But not about that. It's just about simple things that people don't realize. For example, again, I will say this, and I have come across more profiles than I can remember where there are people, Scott, who have their kids' faces blocked out or their friends' faces blocked out, which is also a nice courtesy because, you know, they're not, you're not dating. And then it shows which one you are. And two, it shows like, look, my friends are attractive. You're not going to get to see their faces until we date. Like, that's cool.
Right.
But they link their Instagram to their dating profile. A lot of sites allow you to link your Instagram or your Spotify. Like I have my Spotify match because I want people to know, like, here's the songs I listen to, here's the types of bands I'm into. And if you have similar interests, which I have met people who like just looked at my bands and like, I want to hang out with this guy because we have similar musical interests. But if you connect your Instagram and you're the type of person like both of us who put pictures of you and your kids on Instagram, even if you black out your kids' faces on your profile, you've now given me access to your kids through your Instagram. Like, think about that. And people don't think about that. And you have to, if you're going to be protective, be protective. This is not like put an alarm system on your house and then leave your back door open. You got to lock all the doors.
Yeah, that's an interesting one. To be continued. I think there's a lot of questions people have, and I think we have a lot of experiences that we can share. So,
all right, before we end, can we do one more spin?
Oh my goodness.
You hear it? It's like its own drum roll.
Come on,
the dreidel,
Kimmel. Come on,
the dreidel
Kimmel.
is its own drum roll. Why do you want me to get
Kimmel?
Way to end on a bad note. Shin, what do you got?
It was fun. It was a fun time. I hope that the people that are reaching out feel as though we're more directly answering some of the questions you have. Keep them coming because it really helps us. You know, it might not help you as much, Dan, when I get questions, but it helps us to keep the show relevant.
Oh, I like answering those questions because they're better questions than you would ever ask me. They're actually giving me something to talk about.
Jesus. And there we go. A podcast full of love between you and me. Kids first.